Yeah. Another big evening by Red. We in the house. We in the house. What's that I seen behind? Something I seen. Alright, nevertheless. Hey! What's happening, guys? We back inside. We back in the house. Red. Another fine evening. We have a very interesting evening today. Usually it's me alone. It's just me. And a real dress down, no jacket, no pullover, no waistcoat, a real dress down. But today is a very interesting day. Firstly, I want to say thanks to everybody who's been supporting Red thus far. And this evening we are doing a multi-stream. We are actually live on Facebook. I got it this time. Don't know what happened last time, but we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Not the first time, but I'm just saying, we're here, we're live. Yeah, so again, I want to say thanks to everybody who's been supporting the channel so far. We've been seeing a lot of nice things happening. The feedback has been very encouraging. It's a growing stage. It's a growing something that we involved in. It's our first time. I've been in broadcast for quite a while, but it's my first time being at this side of the thing in front of the camera and making things happen. So I just want to say thanks to everybody who's been encouraging us and supporting us so far and just helping to make the things happen. Today we have a very, very, very interesting topic to discuss. If you saw the billboard, if you didn't see the billboard, today we're talking about 10 things. We want to give you 10 tips for success in whatever you're doing. Whether it's business, whether it is a relationship matter, whether it's whatever it is, we want to give you 10 tips that hopefully would help to put you on the road to success. So what I've done is engage some professionals, people who I've seen them operate. I have some knowledge of their background, their work ethic, their integrity, and so on, and who I have seen move from one stage of their life to our next. So as far as I'm concerned, they can be, to some level, a success model to somebody. You know, they may not be a Bill Gates, they may not be a Jeff Bezos, they may not be a Elon Musk, or a Steve Jobs, but they have moved from level 1 to level 12, from level 2 to level 19, from level 3 to level 47. As far as I'm concerned, that speaks of success. Right? Success is, there's no one yardstick to say unless you've reached from this point to this point, you have not been successful. Success by definition simply means having attained a desired goal. So if your aim was to move from, for instance, if your aim was to move from where you've been earning $500 a week, and your aim was to find something that will now enable you to earn $5,000 a week, if you have been able to do that, you have been successful. That's it. That's the base definition of success, having achieved a desired goal. What you are successful in is a different matter. Now, generally, I understand when we talk success, people first thing comes to mind is business and money. But that's not all. You understand? You go into school, your desire is to come out with a certain level, grade, having mastered the subject matter and stuff. If you have done that, guess what? You're successful. You haven't earned a dollar. You haven't earned a dollar in the process, but you would have achieved your desired goal. So guess what? You are successful. That's basically what it is. That's what success is. So what I've done is engage a few professionals who have asked everybody to give me a tip. Some people went on to give me several tips, so I had to do some editing. But I also got information for subsequent episodes, which we will touch on. But the idea is, here are 10 people, possibly more based on how I've edited. I think it's a little more than 10. But 10 tips that we feel if you engage, if you incorporate, can lend you or have you on your way to success. Let me just make sure I get my YouTube chat properly activated. Right, my YouTube is here. Why is this now telling me to log on? why this is doing its bit of craziness. Alright, so you are good, you are good, and yes, we are on. So, as I say, as usual, if I keep saying, if you like the channel, if you like what we've been doing, you've been finding value from what we've been able to share, like, subscribe, don't forget to click the notification bell, so you know when we on, you get an email, you get some notification, hey, Red is on and they're live. So, with that in mind, let me get straight to it, and as we move from person to person, I've kind of add some additional information, or some additional points to the discourse and so on. But here are 10 tips for your success.
Success is a position that we journey towards, and there are a few things that we need to pay attention to in order for us to become successful. I remember while growing up and looking at my father outlining some things that he would like to accomplish, but that's just it. It was just being outlined and nothing was being done with the plans and projections in the area of execution. Now I need us to pay attention to the fact that in order for any one of us to become successful, we need to first apply discipline. We need to have a level of tenacity to accomplish starting and finishing, a level of awareness that we need to know that even if it may not look like it's coming together, once we stick at it, it's going to make sense eventually. So pay attention to the fact that anything that we need to accomplish, anything that we need to be beneficial to our life in order for us to enjoy a better life, as in the area of success, no matter what it is, if we don't apply discipline, then we will not experience that great level of success. And when we do that, we save time, because my husband has taught us very early in our taught me very early in my marriage that in order for us to accomplish things at a particular time frame so that we could benefit, we could enjoy our accomplishment very young and fresh and vibrant still, that we need to be consistent, we need to maintain a rhythmic approach towards it, and not just as one person but as a team. We are working together as a team. So team in relationship is important. The Bible talks about a house divided cannot stand, and we maintain a one approach, a Tumadon approach in sync, being synchronized in one accord. We carry that mindset very early in our relationship, and today I've seen the benefit of it. So I want to say to us this evening that if we do not apply discipline, we are wasting time in order to attain or become successful. Another thing that we need to pay attention to is the reinventing of wheels. It didn't work, it can't work, it's not working. We are seeing it and we are still wasting time applying it. As I mentioned a while ago, I have seen when my father would list a set of things that he want to get done or he want to see happen, and we want to be beneficial for the family structure, but no execution, nothing is being done about that information. So what I did, I paid attention, and it's good to pay attention, it's good to assess, it's good to take note at what an individual is trying to accomplish and going all about it the wrong way. You don't want to waste time doing that. So you take note. You say, well, okay, it didn't work then, and I'm not going to waste time trying to see if it will work for me. So time stealers is what we need to pay attention to. Reinventing of the wheel cause that to happen in the world, and we find ourselves being frustrated. Time is going, we are getting old, and we are not accomplishing anything. So discipline and paying attention to time stealers by reinventing wheel.
Hey, serious thing. I didn't realize my mic was off. Guys, sorry about that. So that's a very serious note starting from Angela Williams. I didn't say Angela Williams, but Angeli Bernard. Discipline. There's a serious thing. That's a serious. You know, some people just have everything together. You know, and everything just right. Well, for me, boy, yeah, I had to learn to discipline myself in a number of different things. But very good point, very solid point. And guys, feel free to jump in on the chat, jump in and drop some comments. You know, both YouTube and Facebook. So if you're not fighting on one, jump across to the next one if things are working as smooth as you would like. And let us know what you think. Let us know if you agree with the 10 points being offered, or if you have probably an 11th one. Because these are, by the way, these are not in any particular order. They're just randomly being thrown out there as 10 different points. So it's not to say like there's a particular order to the 10 points. Good. And of course, we're not saying that these are the only 10 things that are necessary. But of course, we can't go through everything. But these are just 10 things from people who are successful in their own ventures and business opportunities and so on, that they thought they should share with you, that if you decide you want to go into something, you're going at something, you want to be a success at it, these are some of the things to look at. So we had number 1, discipline. So let's take a look and take a listen at what tip number 2 is.
Mindset. Define what success means to you. Knowing what and where you want to be in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years will help you define your life's purpose. Understand your strengths, hobbies, skill set, and use technology to position yourself for your success. This requires discipline and tenacity to set your goals and stick to it. Expect changes that may require you to take a new and different way, to do more, be more, to afford the security you seek. Your realizations may encourage you to make some big decisions. The key is to invest in yourself each moment. Cherish and celebrate achieving your goals. Savor the taste of triumph. Don't swallow it whole. See your vision. Trust, believe, have faith. Achieve and appreciate what God has in store for you. If it's meant for you, you'll achieve it. Become the best version of yourself. Change your mindset. Now, the pitfall to avoid to achieve success is doubt. Second guessing yourself. The way the mind works, if you think of doing something positive and you follow it with doubt and uncertainty, you'll cancel out your goal. It follows the law of sowing and reaping, which really is the law of averages. So here is the story. An ambitious sower had excellent seed, excellent opportunity, product, and skill set. So some seed the sower sowed fell by the wayside and the birds got some. So for instance, if you have an opportunity for a job promotion and you miss it, and someone else gets your job, you have 2 options. You'll either chase the person who got your job, or you'll leave the field. Stop chasing your goals. So the sower keeps on sowing more than the birds can get, and the seed falls on rocky ground where the soil is shallow. Not of your making, because you are an ambitious sower with excellent seed. So the seed that falls in the soil starts to grow. The first hot day it withers and dies. Now there are some people that will leave the job, leave the opportunity, and there are some people who wouldn't stay. So the sower keeps on sowing and disciplines his disappointment. The seed falls on thorny ground and the seeds turn into plants starting to grow again, but the thorns choke it to death. The thorns are growing to get some. The thorns are going to get some seed, not of your making. Thorns could be cares, distractions, or excuses. So there are some people who let little things cheat them out of big opportunities. That's just the way it is. So the sower keeps on sowing the seed, getting more opportunities, apply his knowledge, and take action to achieve the goals. So finally, the seed falls on good soil, good ground. It always will. So share an idea long enough and it will fall on good people. Some of the good seed will fall on the ground that may yield 30% or 60% or 100% yield. And if each person does the best they can at their yield, then that's just the way it is. But if you want more yield, then you'll need to talk to more successful people who have had 60% yield and 100% yield to achieve their level of success. So in essence, avoid the pitfall of doubt and change your mindset to understand better what positive impact you would like to make here at this time in your life.
I did it again. Sorry. I did it again. I muted my mic by mistake. And yeah, boy, I'm messing up this. I really messed up this evening, but that's alright. So that's another solid point from Sally, having the correct mindset. And Sally, SpalliciousTT.com, and feel free to check them out. They will be looking at the chat, so you could drop a note, find out how you can get in touch with them. As I said, these are all professionals in one form or the other, but having a correct mindset, ultra important. So let's move on to tip number 3. One time. We're not sticking, right? So we go in one time, and let me just kind of but add a little more information. So this next person that I'm going to show you, Trinidadian by birth, but now resides out in Europe. And boy, if you see the kind of position this man holding down, when I run the video, you'll see it, right? So this is tip number 3 on your way to success.
One of the top 10 things highly successful people do is continuous learning. Knowledge is power, and it's everywhere. You don't have to go to a university or college to acquire knowledge. Your greatest life lessons will be self-taught. One of the keys to knowledge acquisition is reading. Highly successful people read every day. When it comes to reading, they don't play. Knowledge is power, and reading about your history, about your family, about your ancestors, reading about new technology, any kind of reading will help you to acquire knowledge that will contribute significantly to the success in whatever you want to achieve in life.
The first thing I would say is to educate yourself into the field and whichever business you're going to take part in. So you have to know your audience, the market you're looking to get into, your distributors, location, hours that you will be opening and closing. You do all your research, you educate yourself, as I say. You too should be informed and be able to kind of take over. In case, let me say you're going to hire workers. If a worker don't turn out, you should be able to fill that gap until they get somebody to replace. You have to have a passion for what you do, a love for it. Having a successful business is not going to be easy. You're going to have to work long hours. So you have to make up your mind for that part as well. You'll be working harder than even your staff. So don't feel because you open a business and you have other people working for you, it's going to be easy. No, it's going to be very hard managing and keeping your business afloat, keeping up with the new trends. So you also have to like stand out from the crowd. So you don't go with everything everybody do. You have to have your own special touch to whatever you in. Your marketing strategies have to be very persuasive. You see things like sometimes even getting your workers on board with the business, so they have their input, so to even help the workload be a little more easy on them as well. Because if people love what they're doing, they'll take pride in doing the work and enjoy doing it. So it will also make the business a little more successful.
Yeah, tip number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Tip number 3, continuous learning. And you heard it from 2 different people. You heard it from Leonard Phillip. As I said, Leonard is boy, his portfolio, I had to look back at it. His portfolio big. Head of Financial Crime Bank, ABC International. That is no small accomplishment, ladies and gentlemen. And here's a little Trini boy holding down that position. And look how simple the man, how simple the man looks, in his discourse. And then we also had input from Miss Sherry Ann Charles. Here's My Dream Salon, right in Port of Spain, Trinidad. But echoing the same sentiments about continuous learning. I like the spin Sherry put on it, in that not because it's your business, feel you will just rock back, and you actually have to work harder than your employees at times, especially when the business is new. Because you can't take sick leave. There are no sick leave involved there, and vacation leave, at least not paid. Because the day you don't work, the day you don't do business, you don't get paid. So you can't go in the office, skiffle whole day, and expect to still collect a salary at the end of the month. No, you gotta make it happen. Right? So you need to learn, you need to understand what you're getting into and know about the type of business. Very, very solid point. Don't just jump in something because if it makes money, it makes money, so you just decide, I like that making money, so I just jump in, but you have no clue what you get. You don't understand the business. You need to understand the business that you want to get into. So do some research before, do some studies, and really get yourself in order. So next up, tip number 4 is coming from Mrs. Shelly-Ann Acqui. Very special lady to my family, very, very close to us. And I was very grateful that not all of them, of course, but I'm very grateful that Shelly was able to take the time to share with us. So tip number 4 coming from Shelly.
Hi, I'm Shelly Acqui. They call me the Possibility Coach. I coach women, mostly women, to design lives that they enjoy, not endure. And I do this through social media marketing and monetization, as well as personal development coaching. Now, what's this one thing that I would tell you guys to do when you are pursuing success? I would have to say, trust the process. So when you are pursuing your dream, your goal, or your purpose, you have to put a process in place, and then some systems to support that process. And then you roll your sleeves up, and then you keep going with consistency and focus as you work towards your goal and your dream. Now, I'm saying this and it may sound easy, but along the way you may get discouraged. This is where you have to pay attention to your mindset, all right, and your realistic expectations. A lot of people think that once they get in and they really work hard in a short space of time, everything is just going to just blow up and manifest into awesomeness. No, that's not how it works most of the time. Generally, your success is like the Chinese bamboo tree, and I'll give you that analogy. I like stories. So the Chinese bamboo tree sits beneath the soil for 5 years. However, for 5 whole years, guys. You all heard that, right? 5 whole years. However, here's the nice part. During those 5 years, that bamboo tree requires watering and to be fertilized for 5 years, and you're not going to see anything. But after 5 years, that bamboo tree bursts through the soil, and in 6 weeks, shoots to approximately 80 feet. Now, that's what success looks like most of the time. Success is you working your process and fine-tuning it and setting it up and making sure it's strong and it's sturdy, and then it's automated and it just starts to happen, and then boom, one day or 1 year or 1 month, it just moves to radical success, to exponential growth, similarly to the Chinese bamboo tree.
Hey guys, my name is Mel Kudrow. I'm a producer, director, broadcaster. I hold many hats. One tip I would say that is important for any business or entrepreneur is to never settle. Never settle with no or it can't be done. Those words sound familiar. And never settle with where you are. Set new milestones, new challenges for the business. I'll even go as far to say, don't look at the present project as the end all. Always ask yourself, what's next? Or how can I improve on this? And you got to trust the process and trust your passion and your persistence to develop ideas and take your business beyond.
So think about if you had abandoned your dream or your goal or your business in year 1, you would not have had that exponential growth. What about year 2? Maybe you held on until year 3 and then you walked away. So don't walk away. Trust the process. Work the process and have patience with the process. All right? You need to focus on the end result. There will always be things in the middle to distract you, like naysayers, financial difficulty, exhaustion. Maybe people want you to go hang out and you can't because you are invested in doing something for your future, right? So that might be relationships being affected. But I want to tell you guys something. If you stick with it, it's going to work for you. You see, I did not start off as a business coach or a life coach. I started off as a vocal coach. All right? Actually, I started off as a singer who eventually became a vocal coach. And there were people who doubted my ability, criticized my strategy and my method. They didn't believe in me. They didn't believe in what I was doing. But I stuck with it. I got the strategy. I worked the process. And it went from just me and one person to an entire academy that turned out to be one of the premier academies on the island of Trinidad and Tobago. I have been internationally featured. I have online, offline academy, as well as one of the most I would say prestigious vocal award show attached to a vocal school on the island. Now, did that happen overnight? No. I had to trust the process. And along the journey, you have to allow yourself time to grow, allow the business or the idea time to germinate and to come into its own fruition. Because I will tell you this, people try to push you to do certain things. Don't step outside of the process. Stick with it. Because a forced ripe fruit is not as tasty or palatable or valuable as a fully ripe fruit. So allow yourself to grow into the fullness of whatever it is you are pursuing. All right? So don't rush it. Don't be impatient. Have patience with the process. Believe in yourself. Block out naysayers, doubters, mouth murderers, haters, right? And you stay focused, right? And don't ever give up.
What a word! I learned a new word there, boy. Mouth murderers, Shelly. We just get them thing from. Let's invent things. Oh, good. But I know you know exactly what she means, right? Yeah. There are some people, things they would say is well, it's best they shoot here because they're so dangerous, and I mean it's like guns coming at you. But there we have it, guys. Tip number 4: trust the process. Trust the process. The thing about process, the idea of a process means that things move from stage to stage over a period of time. So it's not a case, well, hey, I want to get into business today, and the minute you say that, you're suddenly a multi-millionaire. Or, I want to I see somebody I like, I want to get in the relationship, and as you snap your finger, you're married, you have children, and no, it's a process. And along the way, in the process, sometimes you have stages where things are very smooth, nice and fine-tuned, and you have stages that are very rough, and if you're not careful how you handle it at that point in time, you may end up damaging the whole thing. Think about somebody doing you know what is wood turning, those of us who in the craft and woodwork and stuff, where you use this tool called a lathe, and you have your piece of wood from end to end, anchored on the lathe, and it's usually not perfect. It all kind of distortions and crazy stuff happening, and then the woodworker will take his tools and fashion that into a perfectly smooth and cylindrical piece of object, or maybe with little curves and extra bumps or whatever. The point about it is, during the point of getting to that first stage of getting the first form, they run the risk that if they're not careful, they could totally destroy the thing before it even get close to looking like what they want it to look like. Yeah? But having gone through that, there's a stage they would reach where it basically has the form, and all they're doing now is polishing and fine-tuning. And interestingly, that is the part that a lot of people want to be at when they now start. That is another definition for mad. You can't now start but want to be polished. That's crazy. Think about it carefully. Your start is usually very, very, very rough. And you have to do some chopping and some splicing and some knocking out and move this and dig out that, and to get to the point where you have a framework. And now that you've got the frame you're looking for, now you could fine-tune the frame and polish it up and have it looking now like the piece you want. Yeah, so thank you, Shelly and Mel Kojo. By the way, Mel Kojo, you will find her and her colleagues every Sunday evening at 6 on YouTube, with a show called The Evening Show. So Mel and two other co-hosts, three lovely ladies, they co-host that show, and they have real nice, real informative, well put together, a real thought out show, and very educational, very inspirational, and you got a lot of value from it. So feel free to tune into them. Mel Kojo, she was the other person with Shelly. The Evening Show, 6 p.m. every Sunday on YouTube. So let's go on to tip number 5. Tip number 5. And those of you who probably might be involved in real estate, this might be a good gentleman to talk to. Of course, as I said, people have different levels of success. So I'm in no way claiming that these people are the top in their field, but it might be interesting to know where they came from, what they were able to accomplish, and you might be able to learn something from them that you can put into practice in your own business or venture. So here we go to tip number 5.
Have a vision for your company. Having a vision provides a sense of purpose for the business. Your vision will help you define your short and long-term goals and guide the decision-making process along the way. Now, having a vision and conviction that a dream can be achieved inspires the power and energy to get it done. Thinking of the perfect vision statement takes a lot, and you should be thinking of a perfect vision statement for your company. Every business begins with an idea, and every idea should be accompanied by a vision. Now the question is, why is a vision important in business? Let me answer that. The vision refers to the highest goal you wish to attain when building a company. It's not enough to establish your idea and and philosophies. Neither is it enough to just have your business running. Establishing a company is just one of the processes, and there are many, 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 many processes in establishing a business. Whether your company will survive in the next few years will be the true test of its success. To help your company grow and plow through the obstacles that it will encounter along the way, bearing in mind there will be a lot of competitors outside there who are trying to get the greater market share, just like you want to. You need to have a vision. Now, there are some questions that will come to mind. Where do you see your company going in the next 5 years? What innovations do you want to achieve? What are your financial goals? To what extent do you want to expand your business? Now, these are just 4 of the many questions that will come to mind when you composing the perfect vision statement for your company. Now, all these are guide questions which should be considered when you sitting down to write the most effective vision statements for your company. Now, a business vision is a clear picture of what direction the business is heading. It is the purpose that propels the entire company forward, and is what will ultimately lead your company to success. Now, your company will have employees of different mindset, what we call different minded employees, because they will come out of different cultural backgrounds and so on and so on. They will be thinking differently. Now, and these employees will be employing different departments of the company. For example, your finance department, purchase department, marketing department, to name a few. And there will be a challenge to bring all these duties and responsibilities, all these tasks of these different departments together, because each will have their daily responsibilities, tasks to carry out. To do that, they must share a vision. So we see now how important it is to have a vision statement. They need to know where they are heading, so that every action and decision they make, even if they belong to different sectors in the organization, will lead to that ultimate goal. And this is the main purpose of a vision statement.
Herbert Moore, real estate professionals. A vision, having a vision. The vision guides the company. The vision statement sets the direction that the company, all the employees, everybody needs to follow, so that they know whether their actions are in sync or out of sync with what the owner of the company or the owners of the company wants to do and want to accomplish. You're not on your own beat. You're not doing your own thing. That is important. You're not running your own show. If you want to do that, then you have to get your own business. But you can't be somebody else's employee and want to run your show in their business. Nah, you set up your own business to run your show how you want it. But if you're an employee, you need to understand the vision of the company and fall in line to suit. So thank you, Mr. Moore, Herbert Moore. Herbert Moore is actually a colleague of mine from elsewhere. That's the next story. But have a vision for your company. Next up, tip number 6. This one, very short, very simple, but very powerful. Tip number 6.
What is the one thing you need to do in order for your business to be a That is a real simple question, but it is one of the hardest things to do. It's real simple. Start. You would have all these ideas bubbling up in your head and all these things pushing to you, asking yourself if it's a sign, if it's your family members encouraging you to do this, or you wake up one morning and you dream X, Y, and Z the night before, but all of that is for naught if you don't start, if you don't formalize the idea and put it into action. I remember a proverb, I would have said it on the red broadcast as well with Eric. It's simple. You have to start, because the best time to plant a tree was a year ago. It is scary. It is scary. It is not the easiest thing to do, especially if this is going to be a 100% be all and end all in the activity. You invest in your time, your effort, your energy, your money. Business is on the line, your life is on the line, family is on the line, relationships on the line. But you need to buckle down, figure out a way and start. If you don't start, you will never ever even have the business to become successful. You will never even have the opportunity. You will never even have all the headaches and stress and strifes, but you will also not have the success. So that's why it is the thing, I think, overcoming that initial inertia to break free and step towards that success.
It can't be any simpler than that. Just start. Just start. That's it. But as he rightly said, it is a lot easier said than done. I remember, and I gave the story, you could go back and look at it, episode 1, the kind of mental and other challenges I had to deal with just to start this. But having started, things, and those of you who have been on the journey would realize from the first episode to where we are now, how things look, how things sound, the whole mood, the feel, the kind of content and the way we're doing things. We've grown, we've moved from stage to stage, and that's the thing about it. A lot of people want to get everything perfect in their head before they actually start. You will always have changes to make along the way. You just need to know enough to start. What do you need to start? Okay, I have this, I have that, I have that. I don't need to have this to start. I need to get this eventually to run the business. But I just need this to start, so I have it. Start. You have the idea? Start. Launch out. Probably don't even have a place to operate from yet. No problem. Operate from home. Figure out a way. Talk with people. Figure out ways, to use the little that you have to make the most out of it. But very, very solid point. Just start. So let's move on to tip number 7, and this one is coming from a very powerful couple, and I'll tell you a little more about them after. But here is tip number 7.
So you want to be successful in business. To be successful could be easy or it could be very difficult. One of the easiest way to be successful is actually to do something that you really love.
And I really want to attest to that you need to be passionate about what you do. You need to find your purpose. And once you have done that, I want to say you need to add value.
Is really see how that passion could solve a problem. Don't just go after the money. Go after adding value, as Michelle liked to say.
Yes, I do. I really believe that in knowing your purpose, knowing what you have passion about, you will be motivated to actually achieve it. So success starts with you knowing this, and then having to find ways to add value to other people after you've discovered that. And you'd become unstoppable and be successful always.
Another takeaway is to find a mentor, someone who could guide you through what you want to accomplish. Do not listen to people who have not done what you want to do. find someone who did it before and follow their instructions. That is a fantastic way to see and to make sure that you at least get some level of success.
And don't wish it was easier. Always try to be better. Thank you.
We could put that as a point by itself. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. This couple, in another business opportunity that I'm involved in with them, we refer to them as the power couple because they have like about 30 something years of business, financial business under their belts, probably more because at the time when I knew them, it was close to 30, so probably 35 or more, between the two of them, banking, insurance, financial and business consultation and all that kind of stuff. So, they come with a wealth of knowledge, and they operate as a couple, Ivan and Michelle, so we call them the I Am team. Yeah, but they're the power couple. So very good advice. Thank you, Ivan and Michelle. What was it? My head. What's going on in my head? This is our have a passion for what you want to do. And I like the point that Ivan made. In fact, both of them. It's not about you at the end of the day. But you find your passion, you find something you love, but then see how it can help to bring solutions to other people's problems. It's not about just how much money you can make from it. So you love this, okay, the money will come. But see how you can use it to help other people. And you might be surprised to see how things might be drastically different in that case. All right, so we're moving on. Tip number 8, and here's a very powerful one.
Hi, I'm Nigel from the AudioWorks Sound Company. And when I'm on a job with Victor and the rest of the team from AudioWorks, I'm a full-time bank manager. I've been a bank manager for over 20 years, and over that time, I've assisted many clients in achieving their financial goals. From acquiring their first home, acquiring their first vehicle, to starting their business. I always enjoy giving financial advice and assisting clients in achieving their financial goals. First off, financial advice would vary depending on your life stage. If you're in your 20s, 30s, closer to retirement, or even after retirement, financial advice really is tailored to suit your individual situation and will vary from person to person. So the tips and advice I'll be giving today is really general advice that anyone could use. You hear it all the time, have a budget. But that's easier said than done. It's one thing to have a budget, it's quite another thing to stick to that budget. I think that's where the challenge arises. So, in terms of a budget and sticking to a budget, one of the key elements is knowing where your money goes. Stop using cash and start using cards. What I mean by that is, most people, when their salary is paid, they either visit the bank and withdraw their cash, or they go to an ATM, they withdraw the cash, and then they use the cash to meet all their monthly expenses. They pay everything by cash. That makes it a little more difficult to really track your monthly expenditure at the end of the month, because it's important that you review your expenditure so that you can make adjustments. The advantage of using a card is that when you use a card, whether it's a debit card or your credit card, you can see exactly where you spend your money and how much you spend. That way you can make adjustments to your expenditure in order to save money. The other advantage of using cards versus cash is that in the event of any fraudulent activity, or if your card is lost or stolen, you're protected by the bank. If you walk around with cash and use only cash and you lose your cash, well then there is no recourse. Whichever bank you deal with, most banks offer digital banking or online banking for free. Online banking saves you time and saves you money. It gives you access to your banking 24/7. It's real time and it's safe. So you can do your banking from home There's no need to line up or visit the bank for most transactions, including payment of bills, transferring money, which in the time of a COVID pandemic, you really don't want to be waiting in long lines to do banking. So I would highly recommend enrolling for digital banking. You have expenses that would reoccur every month. Your groceries, your car upkeep and maintenance, clothes, utility bills, personal health, entertainment, all these expenses occur on a monthly basis. So if you get in the habit of using your card to do these transactions, your credit card, when at the end of the month, when you get your statement, you can just clear it off from your salary and then you have it there to use all over again. Eric, I just want to say thanks again for inviting me on your show. Continued good luck, great stuff that you're doing, and I hope you and your listeners keep safe.
Yeah, good advice, Nigel Caesar. Thank you, Nigel. Thank you, Nigel. Thank you, Nigel. Thank you, Nigel. Nigel talked about some very, very interesting current stuff inside it. I personally use online banking I've been using for quite a while, and believe me, now the thing is, I know a lot of people they like to look at fees logically. So if you have to use the ATM, they look at how much you have to pay, and you have to do certain how much you have to pay, and it actually saves you money. The online banking actually saves you in one form or the other. Like everything else, of course, it's a service. So you will have to pay something at some point. But think of it this way. When you have to leave home, travel, go to the bank, line up for hours, how much downtime is that you actually losing money, because time is money. So while you might tell yourself, okay, I'm here for 3 hours, I'm not spending anything, but then that's 3 hours you could have been productive elsewhere. So even if, for instance, to do a transfer, if I want to send money from my account to, let's say, another bank, they charge me $1.25. That's $1.25. But if I have to leave, and I can do that from home, but if I have to leave home, go to an ATM. If I'm not driving or traveling, that's money. If I'm driving, that's money because I have to pay for gas, wear and tear on my tires, etc., etc. So it is actually going to cost me more to leave home, get to an ATM, withdraw the money, even though it might be my bank, so 50 cents, all right? Find the person, or depending on how it is, now have to get to another ATM or some, or get to another bank to deposit that money in the other person's account. It costs me more. So from the comfort of home, like I have some guys that freelance with me, so I have basically everybody's bank account. So from the comfort of my home, I get paid. Once I see money is cleared, checks cleared, etc., I sit at home and I just transfer to everybody's account. And it might cost me about $5 at the end of the day to do that. If I had to now go to the bank, or create a scenario where people, come to get their money, and there's higher costs anyhow you take it. So I know some people are shying away from that whole online banking scenario, but again, it depends on how you work it. The issue of the credit card too, that's something I have known for years. Once you pay off the credit card's usage within the given month, you don't pay any interest. And we've bought a number of things from home, for our home, using that process. Go by Courts, or you have a credit card, they swipe, they take what they had to take, and as soon as I get paid, pay it back. I don't owe anybody anything. So, things to consider. We're moving on. So, that was tip number 9, because Ivan and Michelle actually gave 2 tips. Then that was number 9 from Nigel. And tip number 10 from we like to call him the big man himself. Not that big man, another big man. And again, somebody who I've grown to admire, and has actually been somewhat of a mentor to me. So, tip number 10, and then we have a little special after, just some additional information I want to share. But here is tip number 10 for you guys.
Red! It's like that, brother. For me, success. What leads to success? Commitment. Being committed to your cause and understanding why you should stay committed. Because sometimes that breakthrough that you need may be one person away, maybe one step away, maybe just one little bit more of pain, suffering, whatever you may be experiencing that is causing you to slow down or making you think about stopping. That next hour, that next minute, that next day could be your success, but you stopped. So for me, you have to stay committed. We know the story of the pig and the chicken. The chicken just added value to breakfast in the morning by laying eggs. But the pig was committed with total sacrifice because his breakfast was all that he had because he gave of himself. So for me, I want to be committed, giving all of myself. So staying committed to the cause is what's going to bring you the value you desire in your life when it comes to success. Believe, be committed, stay involved. That's it, friends. Stay committed brings you success. On the flip side, what you think will bring you down? Stop. If you decide to stop whatever you have been pursuing for your success in your life, is guaranteed to lead to failure. Because the moment that you stop, that means that you're no longer pursuing your objective or your goals because you have just quit on yourself. And anything that you stop at, you're going to lose immediately. There's no ifs, ands, or doubt about it. You cannot have success by quitting on every project and every obstacle and every hindrance that's in the way. So do not quit. Do not stop. Continue to pursue, continue to press forward, continue to endure in order to have success. Be committed.
In order to have success, be committed. What a final comment, what a final tip. So those are our 10 tips, ladies and gentlemen. Those are, as I said, they are not the final list. Of course, there are other things that can be added to that list, but these are just 10 tips that these professionals have been using, have been advising people and seeing results and have used for themselves. Like Mr. Nigel Jordan, for instance, I remember when he talks about just start, I remember when he decided to start his business, Twigs Natural. He was already employed, gainfully employed with another company, but we had some conversations and he felt this is something he needed to do. And of course, where he is now is nowhere, is far greater position than when he just started. But if he had waited till he got everything that he has now to start, he probably would not have started, because the very business gave him the means to acquire a lot of things that he has now that was able to move the business to another level. So that's it. On King James, final point: be committed. Don't give up. Be committed. You will always meet. Remember the same example with the woodworker turning the wood on the lathe. You will meet rough points at some stage. You would meet little cracks that need to be plastered up and things need to be fixed, and people will fall out with you, and people will have things to say against you, and people would dislike you, and people would, at the same time, you have those who would be supporting you and those who would have your back, as we say. Those are the people you need to focus on. Forget the others. forget the others and don't quit. Hold on. Be committed. If you really believe in what you're doing, then be committed to the process. So with that in mind, I want to leave you with some final thoughts from a gentleman. We've had him on the show already, Mr. Samuel George of Samji Enterprises Limited. Samji Enterprises Limited is a construction firm. But before I get to Samji, let me just drop this one reminder again. If you have some topic, you have something you want to discuss, you want to come out with, and you just want to engage us and engage the public in some measure of discourse, as again, we do not do politics. We not discuss this. We will talk issues. We will talk political issues. When I say political issues, issues that affect the country and a number of things like that. But we're not here to talk politics. Right? So this is not one party and what party we favor and why. Now, we're not on that. We're about performance, regardless of which party is involved in government. We're about performance and doing things to get the country right and to get people the kind of help they need. So feel free to contact. You want to talk about something, it's simple. You want to launch, you have you're a musician, you want a forum to launch some new track you want to bring out. We could do that too. But remember, we're on a series of education, information, and motivation, and positive motivation too, right? Because I know how people will start to think already. But we're talking about positive motivation. So we're not going to be playing any kind of music, not because you feel is what everybody want to hear at this point in time. It may not necessarily fit the bill of what the station is about. So, but who knows? Have a conversation with us. The information is there. The phone number is there. The email is there. Contact us. Let's have a talk, and let's see what could come out of that. So let me just leave you with this last piece of advice from Mr. Samuel George, Samji Enterprises Limited.
I want to discuss today something that bothers me a lot. I have resigned my first job in 1977. So you can imagine the amount of time I would have been spending in business, learning business, practicing, learning from my mistakes, and going forward. And because of what I've accumulated over that period of time, at 77, I am not entitled to pension. While I would have paid all my taxes and made all my contributions, I still, let's put it this way, is overqualified for pension. So the system doesn't really and truly give you that incentive to develop yourself to become financially free. You have to understand these things and work towards that, because I can only get pension if I am dishonest. Let us understand that the system was not designed to make you financially free. Once you have maths and English, that is all you need. Because with English, you will know how to do contracts, how to converse. In maths, you will know how to solve problems and do your proper calculations. So think about it. A certificate has been designed for me to tender to you, to tell you, I am now qualified in this, employ me please. And then you will ask 1,000 questions if you want to employ me or not. Then you'll make your decision. I thank you.
Ooh, I can't help it. I like the last one. A certificate is designed for me to share with you, to tell you that I am now qualified in this. And it's up to you now to ask me 1,000 questions to decide if you're going to employ me or not. No, but he made a very serious statement that I have been echoing for quite a while. The system is not designed to make you financially free. It is impossible. anybody believing it can or claiming that they have, you may, well, you may be so, but you would be one of the extreme few. For instance, you might happen to be one of those working Buckingham Palace. So you're there as an employee, and so your salary is big, and that you know, you could do the kind of things you want. Not everybody will get that kind of job. You know, you might be the personal aide of the president. Not everybody will get that kind of job. So let's be real. You know, while we like to say the opportunity is there for everyone, that's not really true. You will only have one prime minister of a country at any point in time. And every 5 years it takes a change to possibly a new prime minister. Guess what? That's 5 years less you have. So if that is something you are vying for, hello, there are 5,000 other people vying for the same position. And we don't have 5,000 years that each person could get a year. You follow what I'm saying? So this idea that opportunities are there for everyone, but not everyone will be able to capitalize on the opportunity. That's why you have to find a way to make it happen. And the system, the current financial and employment system that we have globally is not designed to make you financially free. Now, yes, you might be able to live with a certain level of comfort, and this is where people miss the mark altogether. You might be able to live with a certain level of comfort, but you will forever be in a position where something you want to do, you cannot do because you just don't have the money at this point in time. We all know certain names we could call, but there are some people in this world that they could just wake up in the morning and decide, I want to go and have breakfast in France, and guess what? They're going to have breakfast in France. The cost is not a factor. Anytime the cost is a factor of consideration, we're not really as financially free as we think, or as we would love for people to think. Yeah, we might be living a certain level of comfort, but when you have to seriously be considering the price of this, price of that, before you could actually do it, then you're not financially free. Now, at the same time, I'm not saying that you just waste away, because you have the money, you just do it for the sake of doing it. I'm not talking about doing that. But I'm saying, even if that is the case, when you could just decide, I want to do it, and you just do it, and not have to consider what is the cost, and compare and figure, okay, well, if I spend all of this on that, then I don't have as much to put on this. And when you have to do that, then you're not financially free. Let's be real. That's just the bottom line. And yes, it is possible to get there. There are a lot of people in the world that are there. Thousands of them. Hundreds of thousands, possibly some millions. Not everybody might be a Bill Gates or a Jeff Bezos. Their wealth ranks in the hundreds of millions or billions, as the case may be, or the tens, as the case may be. But there are a lot of people that are millionaires in their own right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 million, worth, and they live in a certain, a certain level of freedom, because they have the money that they could basically do the things they want, when they want, how they want, why they want, and not consider, when I spend this $10,000 here, how is this going to affect some other project that I have to do on that side. So just some tips again. Tips. They're not conclusive. These are just tips. And I just want to leave you with one final tip. Remember, in this lockdown season that we're in, I want you to take note of one thing, ladies and gentlemen. My mask helps you. Your mask helps me. The mask is not going to cure COVID. The mask is not going to take away COVID. The mask is not going to take away the symptoms of COVID if you happen to have it. The mask is not a cure-all for COVID-19. However, we need to be sensible and practical. If both of us, look at this, my friend Adrian and I, if both of us face each other and cough with the mask on, and then do the same thing with the mask off, which one you feel would have the more devastating effect? There's a simple thing called common sense. Let's use it, ladies and gentlemen. And with that in mind, I bid you farewell until the next episode. And this actually, and I forgot to mention this in the past, this is another mini series that we've started here, 10 things. So we're going to be looking at 10 things that one way or the other impact something about something in your life. So we're going to talk about 10 things about relationship, 10 tips, 10 things that has to do with health, 10 things that has to do with education, 10 things. So again, feel free, please like the channel, share, subscribe, let your friends know, let families know. We're doing things, and it's all about education, inspiration, and motivation. And with that in mind, we say we're out until next week Tuesday.